Well, tensions between China and Taiwan at an all-time high as Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is questioned on the threats we face from Beijing.
China has been launching multiple air operations near Taiwan. Do you think that these are training flights for future operations?
It looks like a lot like them exploring what their true capabilities. It looks a lot like rehearsals.
Here to discuss, Asia expert and senior fellow at the Gatestone Institute, Gordon Chang. Gordon, nice to see you this morning, and thanks for joining us. I think that's quite a big news, Secretary Austin admitting there that these look like a rehearsal. But I know at the same time you've also said that you don't believe General Austin is showing the leadership required. What do you mean by that?
I think that General Austin, as well as Secretary Blinken, as well as President Biden, need to be resolute in their pronouncements. They need to say, we will defend Taiwan. Now, this is a policy that President Biden actually did announce at the CNN town hall in October, but it was immediately walked back by the Secretary of State's press spokesman, also by General Austin, Secretary Austin, and by Jen Psaki, the White House press office secretary. So you have disarray in the administration right now, and Beijing sees that.
You tweeted recently that the U.S. should take the fight to China's regime and play just as rough as the attackers. In what way? What would you like to see the U.S. do?
Well, first of all, I think that we certainly need the announcement by the president that we will defend Taiwan. But, you know, as China flies its planes through Taiwan's air defense identification zone, we need to fly our planes in force through China's air defense zone. It's still international airspace, but it sends a message. Now, we have these freedom of navigation operations on the surface of the sea. The U.S. Navy and the U.S. Coast Guard participate in those. We should be doing those instead of just single Arleigh Burke destroyers. They should very well be fleets going through the Taiwan Strait. China will back off if they believe that the United States will use force. Now, this is exceedingly dangerous, but some really bad Taiwan policy over the last 3 decades has put us into a position where there are no safe options.
Yeah. Now, Defense Secretary Austin has also said that the U.S. doesn't fear competition as China advances hypersonic weapons. Take a listen.
America isn't a country that fears competition. And we're going to meet this one with confidence and resolve, and not panic and pessimism.
Well, there you go. We don't fear competition, but as you've said, perhaps the actions don't seem to suggest that. Do you think that China senses some kind of weakness at the moment because of all the policy failures you've lined out?
Yes. I mean, just take that statement from the Secretary of Defense. China tested a hypersonic glide vehicle. That test showed an intention to violate the Outer Space Treaty because you're not allowed to put nuclear weapons in space. And those HGVs, as they're called, are only useful if they carry nukes. Now, we should have heard the Secretary of Defense say, oh, look, you're violating the treaty. We're going to pull out of that treaty if that's what you intend to do. But we don't hear that. We hear these bland words, which really don't mean very much. And China doesn't take them with any sort of seriousness because they know that they're intending to violate the treaty, and we're afraid to call them out on it.
Yeah. Gordon, very, very quickly, what do you make of the diplomatic boycott of the Olympics? We gather that may be announced soon. Is that enough?
It's a good step in the first instance, but no, it's not enough. We need to move the games, and we need to ban China's participation in all the Olympics because they're denying athletes the right to participate. Those are Uyghurs, Kazakhs, Tibetans.
Yeah. Gordon Chang, thanks so much for joining us. And everyone, be sure, please, to pick up copies of Gordon's books, The Coming Collapse of China and The Great U.S.-China Tech War. Very good reads, both of them. Thank you, Gordon Chang, for joining us.